Week 11 is here. Let's take a look at some sleepers next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Friday, June 10th. I am Frank Samfel, joined by Scott White. And let's take a look at the schedule. We've got one team with 5 games. That's the Dodgers. 17 teams with 6 games. 9 teams with 7 games. And 3 lucky teams have 8 games next week. The Phillies, the Mariners, and the Nationals. Let's get into some two-start pitchers. Scott, are you starting Chris Bassett up against the Brewers and the Marlins?
Yeah, I think he's still somebody pretty automatic whenever he has 2 starts.
Fair enough. Corey Kluber, one good matchup, one bad at the Yankees at the Orioles.
He's been reliable enough that I'd roll with him as well.
Blake Snell at the Cubs. Okay. At Colorado. Yikes.
Well, and just Blake Snell is kind of a yikes in general right now.
Sure, yeah.
Coming off the IL, walks, short outings. So I might roll the dice in a points league just for the chance at more volume. But in any kind of categories league, a roto league, I'd want to safeguard my whip because that could be potentially disastrous from Snell.
Steven Strasburg made his return to the mound on Thursday, and I'm happy for him. However, the results were not good, and he's going up against the Braves and the Phillies next week.
Yeah, big no for me.
Adrian Hauser at the Mets and at the Reds.
That's a no for me as well.
Yusei Kikuchi versus the Orioles and the Yankees.
I could see doing it in a points league, but that's about it. It's, he still hasn't been quite the pitcher we want him to be.
All right, let's get into some two-star pitchers to add and stream for next week. Who you got?
So I like Zach Eflin for this week. 2 great matchups against the Marlins and Nationals. His most recent start on Thursday was not so great. It wasn't a disaster either, but he went less than 5 innings, had more walks than strikeouts. That was coming off 8 shutout innings in his previous start. And remember, a couple turns ago, he had a 12 strikeout effort against the Dodgers. So Zach Eflin's been pretty up and down, but you got to like him with those matchups. I also like Alex Wood's matchups against the Royals and Pirates. Doesn't get much better than that. He's coming off his best start of the season. The underlying numbers haven't been bad all along. Merrill Kelly had a bounce back start last time. Middle of the road matchups, Reds, Twins, but I'd still roll with him since it is 2 starts. Josiah Gray, another boomer bust type. He can get burned by the long ball at times, but he has been throwing his slider more recently, getting more swinging strikes as a result. So even though it's against the Braves and Phillies, I feel okay about using him. And kind of a deeper option here, Alex Faedo, 17% roster. He's been pretty reliable for the Tigers, and his matchups are against the White Sox and Rangers. And so somebody highly available for you to pick up and use this week.
Yeah, I like those matchups quite a bit for Alex Faedo. How about some single start streamers for next week? Who do you have, Scott?
Going to keep calling Jeffrey Springs a streamer for now because he's still only 74% rostered, and he's at the Orioles this week. I'd like him no matter where he was pitching, but that's an especially good place to pitch. Spencer Strider, we'll see how his weekend start against the Pirates goes, but if it goes like I hope it will, like we've been expecting things to go for him with his move to the rotation, all those swings and misses, that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. If it goes well, I like his start at the Nationals. And also Ranger Suarez against the Nationals. I like that as well. Graham Ashcraft with a high ground ball rate against the Brewers. That's pretty good too.
All right, some hitter matchups for next week. The best matchups go to the Padres, the Mariners, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, and the Tigers. The worst hitter matchups, Dodgers, Mets, Orioles, Angels, and Yankees. Some sleeper hitters for next week.
So it turns out a lot of those middle infield pickups we've been highlighting happen to have the right matchups this week to take advantage. Bryson Stott, you mentioned the Phillies have the 3rd best matchups. Luis Garcia. Nationals aren't among the top 5 matchups, but they're one of 3 teams playing 8 games. Lane Thomas, it's been hot for the Nationals, been playing every day again, so I like him to take advantage of the 8-game week as well. The Rockies are at home, so I like Connor Joe, Randall Grichuk as they do anytime the Rockies are at home. Santiago Espinal of the Blue Jays has been hot, and they have the 4th best matchups this week. Pretty handy guy there. And then for the Reds, who only 6 games this week, but facing some weak pitchers, I think you can take advantage of Brandon Drury and Tommy Pham for them.
Lane Thomas, one that I do like quite a bit as well, Scott. I know you mentioned him. Now has multiple hits in 5 of his last 6 games, widely available if you do need an outfielder in those 5 outfield leagues. All right, we're going to wrap there. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.